even thinking about that.
Yeah,
like,
if
Ben keeps like a loose hand, he can just get punished really hard by Adam here.
So here we are, round 3 of the Star City Games Open Series Legacy portion here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm Gavin Verhey, and I'm joined here by Jacob Van Lunen. On your right, Adam KY. Adam KY is playing blue-red-white, kind of like a I would say America. Normal people associate Team America with that.
Yeah,
that's a different
we
color
just call it
combination.
Star Spangled Slaughter.
Star Spangled Slaughter, sure. Grim Mancer, Stoneforge Mystic, Medallion Click, all the cards you would expect: Brainstorm, Swords, Misstep, Force. Now, normally Adam likes to play lands, and that might help him out in this matchup because his opponent is playing the lands deck. Ben Tosh playing the blue version of lands with Intuition, and the big thing to note about this matchup is Exploration and Mana Bond can be countered by Mental Misstep, like we were just talking about, which is a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, Adam only chose to play 3 copies of Mental Misstep. If he has to play, he also has Spell Pierces. That's pretty big.
And a Force, of course, too.
Yeah, Force also.
Yeah.
But even if you don't have an Exploration of Mana Bond or a... even if you don't have an Exploration of Mana Bond, the lands deck can still do some pretty powerful things. Your Wasteland port draws just really lock people out, so... And there Ben goes. He leads off with Wasteland.
Yep. Keeping basically your deck as anonymous as possible. Turn 1 Wasteland could be about anything.
Yep. All right, there's a port, and he's going to pass, and he's going to tap that island during his opponent's upkeep. Now Adam's probably just going to play another line of pass.
See, there's a Flooded Strand, looks like.
Yep. Ooh, a foil Flooded Strand. That's pretty nifty. And a beta Trop. This board state is very expensive. It's an exploration.
Exploration. Let's see if Adam has an answer. Adam is a guy who likes to play with a lot of nice-looking cards in his decks. So. See if he does anything here. Nope. Just gonna port the island. Now with that exploration, the lands deck is gonna get out of hand. They just played a couple lands every turn, and quickly you just get in this position where you just assemble all the cards you want, and the blue version can eventually Mindslaver lock your opponent. That's how it eventually wins. Academy Ruins Mindslaver lock.
And it has man lands, so it just attacks its opponent.
It can man lands too, and I mean, if you don't know how the land deck works, basically you use Life from the Loam, Mana Bond, and Exploration to put lots of lands into play quickly, and so you can reuse your lands. And then you can, for example, use like Glacial Chasm, which stops people from attacking or stops people from dealing damage to you. You can use Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale to reduce creature decks to smithereens. All kinds of interesting things happen here. You have Rishon Port and Maze of Ith, both great cards. You just play tons of lands and cards that deal with lands, and then a couple ways to win.
Seems really strong.
The intuitions give you the ability to find certain kinds of lands or find all your loams or something like that. So it looks like Adam's going to go for Stoneforge Mystic here, and just in every format we just see that same play, turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic.
It's just so strong.
It is just such an incredible card. Definitely a premier card for Worldwake. I mean, Stoneforge Mystic has almost become more ubiquitous than Jace, which is pretty impressive.
I mean, that's a safe statement.
And there is the gorgeous Sword of Fire and Ice that Adam got picked up. That is the Judge promo Sword of Fire and Ice. That's an old card frame. And Ben Tosh picks it up, might not be used to it. It's really nice looking. And I guess Sword of Fire and Ice is the card you want to get here over Muzawa's Jite if you're playing against lands, because the extra card is
a lot more relevant than...
And it puts them on the same clock. I mean, Jite is 4 damage a turn. Sword of Fire and Ice is 4 damage a turn.
Same equip cost. Stoneforge in play. It's
right.
Your next turn you could play Jit and equip, but with the port in play, that's not really reasonable. So he's just going to drop the sword onto play in response to the port in his upkeep.
And there's an empty loam from Ben Tosh. Just the old pay 2 mana, put it in my graveyard.
We're just going to go ahead and attempt to tap that Plains, I assume. Adam's probably going to respond by dropping his sword onto the battlefield. Or he's going to respond with a V-click.
Ah, Medallion Click. All right.
And that's really strong, because then next turn when his opponent goes for a port activation, he can tap the 2 lands that his opponent is attempting to tap and drop a sword onto the battlefield.
And then equip it too.
Yep.
And let's see. So he sees Loam, Mana Bond, and you taking the Loam. You can do that if you want, but it doesn't really accomplish a ton because there's already a Loam in Ben's graveyard. The question is, do you even want to take the card here, or just I think you just leave it.
You
right?
leave it.
Also, worth noting is if you let him draw a card, he can dredge that Loam back, which gives him, which means if he hits another Loam, he gets more dredging power. Now, granted, there's already 2 Loams out of his deck, but it's still an issue.
I'm surprised Adam didn't target himself with that V-click against lands. I don't think I've ever targeted them with a V-click in my life. I always target myself and put a removal spell in the bottom of my library. Game once.
Turns out lands plays a lot of lands.
Yeah.
So Riftstone Portal goes down, and Tolaria West, another land. So 3 juicy land targets for Ben Tash to take, and then he can probably play out that Mana Bond and just drop them all into play this turn.
Which would be the worst of playing Magic on every land you click has like this regular ability of green.
So Rashad points out that if you were playing this match on Magic Online, it would be the worst because all of your lands would have tap for their normal colors plus black from Urborg and green and white from Riftstone Portal in the graveyard. Life from the Loam picks up three lands for Ben Tash and plays Riftstone Portal from his hands. So he no longer can, all of his lands can no longer tap for green. I mean, it's interesting they play the Riftstone Portal because normally you want that one in your graveyard. But I guess you can always wasteland it or something. Ben locks down a land of Adamson's upkeep, but I imagine he's gonna, in response, oh, he chooses to not put the sword in.
Not to drop the sword into play.
Okay. That's a plateau.
Yep. And he's just gonna attack for 4.
So Adam attacks for 4, dropping Ben Tash to 15. Oh, here we go. Jace. And there's the Mind Sculptor.
Tick up.
And let's see what he's going to do. I mean, against lands, you just want to go ultimate as soon as possible, right?
Yeah, you just ultimate people. I played Jace the Mind Sculptor as a 4-of in a Legacy tournament last year, and I played against lands twice that tournament. And both times I played against lands, all 4 games, I played a Jace and just started taking it up immediately and was able to deck my opponent every time. Ben doesn't really have an effective way to attack that. He has a single Creeping Tar Pit in his deck. So...
Yeah, you have to go for the combo, which is hard, but considering that
I guess he gets explosives for 4?
1 engineering explosives for 4. That's true. I mean, also, if you combo out, obviously take all their turns, then it stops Jace too, but it takes a long time to get to that point. Ben Tash really needs the Mana Bond so he can start building up his mana. So Ben's going to Loam. Takes back 3 cards. So now he's got plenty of lands in his hand. And now he's going to cast a Mana Bond, I imagine.
Yeah, that seems right.
Okay, plays a second land for the turn-off Exploration. Cracks Windswept Heath.
Yep, drops down to 14. I imagine he's going to grab like another blue-green source. That would make sense. Shrop's probably the best one. There it is. Okay, so he's probably going to Tolaria West. He's going to go find the explosives. And his plan here is going to be to pop his explosives for 4.
Deal with that, Jace. He knows that Jace is the issue. You have to take care of it.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. The problem is, of course, he's relying on...
It seems like he's going ahead and grabbing a Creeping Tar Pit, actually.
Tar Pit. I was going to say...
Also another decent choice to have there.
Yeah, Tar Pit is pretty good at keeping Jace down. And also, the problem with getting explosives is Adam has plenty of counter magic in his deck, and he can, just force the explosives or something.
The Tar Pit's probably a better choice there.
Well
played by Ben Tosh.
One thing is, the Tar Pit doesn't kill Jace, and if you want to keep Jace under control, you have to keep activating it.
Yeah, and sink their mana into it. The thing is, he'll have a ton of mana very soon. If he continues dredging, continues loaming, he's going to eventually just have multiple Maze of Myths and things like that.
Right. So still no Mana Bond from Ben Tash. I can understand going for the Creeping Tar Pit, though. That makes sense. So Adam chooses to Brainstorm. He's like, well, he's got the Tar Pit. I'm not going to be able to +2 him out, so I'm going to go for more cards.
That makes perfect sense here.
I mean, I think you can still play a game where you just try and +2 a bunch of times and force him to creeping tar pit you every turn. But
Yeah, you can probably hold his mana down. If you do that, then you can just use your swords really aggressively and probably steal the game.
because I think
So you're attacking from 2 angles.
I mean,
you're forcing him to tap his mana to deal the Jace.
Right.
And,
I mean, he always mana bond, so his lands are he's gonna get more lands eventually. The thing about Jace is you're probably gonna +2 it at some point anyway, just because you don't want it to die to the first creeping tar pit attack. So it's just a matter of what turn you're gonna +2 it at, and maybe you scry one yourself if you want to. We'll see what happens. So there's the sword. Looks like sword's gonna come down this turn.
Yep.
There's Sword of Fire and Ice.
Sword on the table.
Give it to the Mystic, and crash in for 8, including the 2 from Sword. So Mystic deals 3, Click deals 3, and then Sword deals 2 more, and Adam Kai will have
Draw a
the
card here.
opportunity to draw a card.
Yep.
And so now Bentash is facing down lethal next turn, but I'm sure he's got a way to deal with what's going on. I mean, he needs to hit a Maze of Ith pretty badly.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, Dredge.
I mean, he has a full play set of mazes, so.
Got tons of lands in his hand, tons in his graveyard. I can't tell what they all are. All right, looks like he's gonna cast Life from the Loam.
He's got to return Tolaria West.
You've been Tolaria West for Maze of Ith.
Yep. That seems to be his play here, right?
I agree. I think you have to get Maze. Then you can Maze down the Mystic next turn, drop to 3, and then do the same thing West for another Maze. Yeah, we got Glacial Chasm. That works too.
I think he does have one
Yeah,
Glacial
he has
Chasm,
one
yeah.
Glacial Chasm, so
I
that would
see
also
that
be a good
one.
way to get that Riftstone portal off the battlefield. And
Yeah, and that's it. Glacial Chasm. That's going to be really strong against this this blue-white-red deck here.
yeah, now that'll Glacial Chasm kind of a trippy card for those who don't know what it does. What it says is all damage that would be dealt to is reduced to 0, but you can attack, or you can't be attacked, and you put all damage dealt to you, and when it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice a land, and has cumulative upkeep of 2 life. So the way it works is you just let it die every turn, but because of Life from the Loam and Exploration, you can basically keep it in play for as long as you want, and then
Yeah.
you can build up toward your Mindslaver endgame. And now that Riftstone Portal is in the graveyard, taps it for Mana Bond. He's going to discard his hand, get a ton of lands. And despite taking a ton of damage, Bentash is in pretty good shape.
Yeah. It seems like he's locked this one up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's see, he's got a port he can use if he wants to. And looking at Adam Kai's deck list, what answers he has. Not a lot.
It's not seeming great for him right now.
Not good for Adam Kai. I mean, going ultimate with Jace was his plan, but with Creeping Tar Pit down, it doesn't work very well. And I don't think, unless Bentash messes up, I don't think Adam has a way to win from this position.
He does. What he's going to want to do is when Ben sacrifices the Glacial Chasm and dredges the Loam, Ben's going to have to try to play the Loam to get back the Chasm, and Adam has a Force in his hand.
Right.
So Ben has to mess up, but because Ben can play around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you do is you just take the 2 the next turn, and then you just dredge Loam, and then dredge. Oh, but because of Mana Bond makes it a little trickier because you can't keep Loam in your hand at all. I mean, you should probably just dredge Loam. Or you can choose to not Mana Bond, right? It's a May. You don't have to put all your lands in play and discard your hand. Yeah, it's a May ability. So you can just dredge the Loam, not cast it, and then next turn sacrifice Glacial Chasm, dredge the other Loam because he has 2 of them going, and then one of them should resolve. Maybe not. He does have Spell Snare. And as Adam just found out, you can't attack. Glacial Chasm says creatures can't attack. So he can't attack Jace with Creeping Tar Pit. However,
Yeah, the Jace might just ultimate him.
the Jace might ultimate, but I mean, if he just sacrifices the Chasm during his upkeep, attacks, then plays the Glacial Chasm post-combat. The trick is getting to the point where you can play it post-combat. The other question is how close to Bentash to... Whoa, wait. Why are those creatures tapped? You cannot attack under Glacial Chasm, correct? And did those creatures attack?
I think it's creatures you control cannot attack.
Creatures you control can attack. It's not all creatures. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the part I was missing.
It's prevent all damage dealt to you, I think.
Okay, so all damage. Okay. So, all right. So Adam attacks. Nothing happens.
Yeah, creatures you control.
Okay. So let me give you the complete wording. Cumulative upkeep, pay 2 life. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice a land. Creatures you control can attack and prevent all damage that will be dealt to you. So your creatures can attack. Prevent all damage will be dealt to you from whatever they do. Who knows who designed this card in Ice Age?
Classic.
But Adam basically has to assemble a position where he can counter double Life from the Loam on Glacial Chasm before Bentash can find a way to kill him. Let's see. So he has Tolaria West to transmute. Let's see if he has anything like he doesn't have Vesuva. He can get Tabernacle to tap some lands. He can get Ghost Quarter, Academy Ruins, which is pretty good. So Zurin Orb, that would be the good one to get here. Keeps him up on lands. And yeah, now I think Adam Kai is pretty locked out. Because if he plays the Zurin Orb and it gets countered, then he can transmute Tolaria West to go find Academy Ruins, and then he can Ruins the Zurin Orb on top of his library and draw it again. The question is if he has that much time, but Adam only has so many counter spells.
Cribbing Tarp.
I mean, Jace ultimate doesn't stop.
And
The ultimate switches.
let's see.
You're right.
Adam taps 2. Puts out. What's he looking at? Taps 3. Okay, Ponder. Adam Cat ponders.
Already fine.
It says top 3 cards. Grim Lavamancer.
He's probably gonna want to shuffle these away.
And I mean,
I don't see any blue cards.
yeah, I think his plan is to just look for counter magic. If it's only out, blue cards. Ugh. Yeah, Adam has to draw as many counter spells as he can, and then he has to counter Ben's attempts to get Glacial Chasm back.
I think Ben has this one locked up.
I mean, well,
I mean, with the Zurin Orb plus the Glacial Chasm,
yeah,
it seems really hard.
yeah.
I mean, the ultimate on Jace is the issue here.
Well, so here's the thing. With the ultimate on Jace, it doesn't even solve the problem, because if he just gets Academy Ruins, you could put an artifact back on top of his deck every single turn, and he can never deck.
Well, he needs an artifact that he has some way to sacrifice every turn. So he has an Explosives.
Explosives would do the trick. Mindslaver sacrifices every turn to good effect.
Yes, Mindslaver also works. That's true.
Of course, the trick is he has to find one of these cards before Jace goes ultimate. But now, like, he has the time. He can afford to sacrifice the Glacial Chasm and attack Jace with Creeping Tar Pit, and then loam it back. Because like, even if Adam Kai spends a bunch of counter spells, yeah, so he's just going to gain 2 life. Ben can just gain a bunch of life, and you can just loam it back the next turn. So cycles Tranquil Thicket, even better, so you can dredge loam more times.
Yep.
Dredge 1, 2, 3. Finds Mox Diamond and 2 lands. Rishna Port being one of them. I was talking to Jerry, and with no combo in the format, he feels like combo is really on the downswing because of Mental Misstep right now. with a lack of combo, Lance is a good deck to play because because Lance is a really bad matchup as combo. It's almost unwinnable for a lot of them. So they try and sideboard a bunch of chalices or whatever to make up for it, but it's just a half-hearted attempt. But if you're not facing Dredge, if you're not facing even Dredge isn't that bad. If you're not facing like Storm, it's it's fine. So Ben,
Storm definitely gives this deck some real problems.
Yeah, turn 2 kills, not so good for a deck that wants to Mindslaver lock you. All right. You can tell Ben by the way he handles his cards. He seems pretty disciplined with these lands, and normally most lands players are. They play the deck for so long, they know what they're doing.
It's a deck that's a gigantic investment. So if you play lands, you're clearly been playing lands, or clearly will be playing lands.
So Adam Kai is holding a Swords with Plowshares in his hand, which can kill a Creeping Tarpet that's attacking. Still doesn't necessarily solve the issue of Academy Ruins. How many counters is Jace at right now?
I believe Jace is currently at 8. Or
8 counters?
7, rather.
7 counters, so it has 2 more turns? 3 more turns? 4 more turns.
4.
3 more of
4.
+2ing.
Yeah, 3 more +2ing, and then another one where...
Or your ultimates?
Yeah.
So Ben has a lot of time.
Yeah, so Ben has a few turns here for him to assemble what he needs to. Academy Ruins is a good choice. I might just Tolaria West for the Engineered Explosives so that I couldn't deck myself. And then just slowly whittle them down with like a Tarpit or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways Ben Nash has his game locked up, but the trick is if he messes up, Adam, the Zern Orb is what really puts it out of reach for Adam. There's maybe a shot before that, but with the Zern Orb,
Zern Orb used to be considered like one of the more powerful cards around. It's funny.
It's funny how these things go. Now it's just a one of in a combo deck that plays 40 plus. Let's see, 4, 8, 12,
43,
20. 24, 27, 28, 35 lands. 35.
Oh wow, it's less than normal.
I mean, I know that they've been cutting down on their lands, a lot of them.
Yeah, it's not really 40.
They moved from like
42.
43 lands to 41 lands to 39 lands to 37 lands. Now we're down to 35. I mean, you only need so many lands. I think Ben is trying to explain something to Adam. I'm not sure if he's saying, look, can we just go on to the next game so we have enough time to finish the match? I'm guessing that's probably what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh, Adam is also a... we were talking about.
Looks like Ben is talking to the judge about something. We're not quite sure what's going on. Did he miss something somewhere?
I'm unsure.
We'll find out. Adam, I assume the game might be back now. Adam's looking at Ben's graveyard.
All right.
Well, if you're Adam Kai and you're looking through the graveyard, you're just trying to figure out if he has artifacts, if he has Academy Ruins. I mean, Adam's played a ton of lands, so... Seems like
Ben is trying to say, look, I already won, but Adam's like, I'm not so sure. Let's keep playing. It's completely reasonable. Adam is like a lands master. He would know when he's dead.
Okay, so it sounds like they're in Ben's Declare Attacker step somewhere. Ben went to activate Creeping Tarpit after Adam had floated a mana, and it's not clear exactly if they've already passed the point where Ben wanted to declare attackers, or was able to declare attackers, and therefore, because you have to activate the Tarpit before the Declare Attack portion of the Declare Attacker step. If you go past that step, you can't attack.
Yeah, and this is an interesting thing that with the new rules and the new like wordings that you have to have, they've made it more like user friendly. in Magic. So now, if you say I'd like to begin combat, you can't activate it anymore. Even if you say I like to begin combat, unless they do something at the beginning of your combat step, you can't do that anymore. So, saying I'd like to begin combat is implying that you're going to your declare attacker step now. This is the way the wording works. So you have to be like very explicit in saying, I'm going to enter the beginning of my combat step. I'm not going to declare attacker step yet. Like you have to literally like spell out what you're doing now, which is good. You need to like word it very properly. Otherwise, it might be confusing for people.
Hey everyone, we're back. Judge ruling currently in. Hide the banana.
Hide the banana. Hide the banana.
Judge ruling currently in progress. We'll get back to that match in a second. This is not seem like a good matchup for Adam Kai, and I'm sure he's trying to do what he can to win. It involves swordsing that creeping tar pit.
Yeah, I mean he would know better than either of us, or perhaps even his opponent, whether or not he could win the match. Like, he's played lands in tournaments for years and years now.
Sure.
So I don't think it's unreasonable for him to want to keep playing.
Right.
He probably thinks he has a chance.
I mean, Adam knows how long lands games can take. He doesn't want to be in a 30-game situation where they're stuck on time either. Okay, so here we are. We're back.
Okay.
And all right, and so looks like so Jace got attacked by Tar Pit. So the attack did go through. Counters got removed from Jace. For those who are just joining us, the board state here is on Adam Kai's side of the board. Stoneforge Mystic, Vendilion Click, Jace with 6 counters, I believe, and Sword of Fire and Ice on the Stoneforge Mystic. But his creatures don't really matter because on the other side of the board is Ben Tash playing Zurin Orb, Exploration, Mana Bond. He's playing 43 lands. He's got
Glacial
all the lands.
Chasms in play right now.
Glacial Chasms in play. Multiple Rishan Ports are in play. Creeping Tar Pits in play. The board state is very bogged down, and Adam Kai is trying to figure out how he can win this game. He's not looking good. He had the plan of ultimating Jace, but with Creeping Tar Pit on Ben's side of the board, it's hard to do. Adam has swords, but
what he wants to do is get a fetch land so that he
Right.
can effectively use the swords.
Right.
So otherwise he can't port it.
You can't port the fetch land. Although I think Ben has enough ports to do it once, but he can't tap on Adam's turn, then again tap on his turn. However, after Jace exiles Ben's library, if it were to go ultimate, Ben can still not die by using Academy Ruins and an artifact. So that adds an even additional wrinkle to this game. We've had a couple, it's funny, we've had a couple of really fast matches so far in Legacy. It's like, no, this match...
This is not going to be a quick one. Buckle up.
But it's a lot of really intricate stuff happening.
Yeah, okay, so he's going to dredge his loam, finds a Ghost Quarter, sacrifices Chasm to Zurin Orb, pops up to 8, untaps,
Dredge alone, probably.
yeah, I assume he's going to dredge loam.
There's the loam, and he goes for the dredge.
Okay, so he's going to dredge this loam.
Exploration,
Finds
there's the Academy
Ruins. So he's probably going to loam that back.
Now he just needs the artifact to go with it.
Yeah, he can, and he can actually Tolaria West for the explosives right now and just lock it up.
Okay. So you can get the explosives. I mean, the other card that he's optionally looking for
Well, his
is
opponent has multiple
Mindslaver.
forces, so I don't know if it even locks it. I guess it does lock it up.
I mean, he has multiple forces, but the important part is putting the explosive back on top of your deck every turn, which if you force it, it's still going to the graveyard.
Yeah. So
Ben is... I mean, so Ben can do that way. Otherwise, he can just try and find a Mindslaver eventually. But if he keeps milling his deck, eventually he'll get there. Worth noting is that Glacial, or that Grim Lavamancer can deal 2 to Ben while Glacial Chasm's not in play while he's comboing out. But A, Zurin Orb negates that, and B, Adam Kai is having his red tapped every turn by Rishon and Port. So it doesn't really work very well for him. So Ben doing some crazy land shenanigans over there. Putting more lands on the battlefield. There's Academy Ruins. And there's Glacial Chasm. He's going to cycle Tranquil Thicket.
probably going to dredge a loam.
Yeah, the cycling land loam interaction is really excellent. this lets you, keep dredging every single turn. There's the Mindslaver, so he's got the lock.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of assembling it to perfection now. How many lands do you have playing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So after this turn, you'll be able to Mindslaver lock Adam. Adam might be able to buy a turn with a Force or 2, but it's seems unlikely that's going to stop him from Mindslavering him out.
Yeah, end of turn, he's probably just going to Mana Bond all these away.
Yeah, Mana Bond all the lands into play.
And we're off.
All right, and so the board is pretty dominating right now. And next turn, Ben's going to be able to use Academy Runes, put Mindslaver on top of his library, and then play it and activate it, which means that he takes Adam's next turn, and Ben can repeat this loop for all the rest of the turns of the game.
Yeah.
And Adam Cat will lose because all of his turns are taken. He'll deck out. That's the game. All right, so Adam's still in it. From his perspective, he chooses the Jace himself, scrying 1.
Now, let's see. All right, yes, I think he's just going to tap that during his upkeep before he's just going to sacrifice the Dezurin Orb, and he's going to Academy Runes on the top of his deck.
All right, and
Adam just packs
all
it
right,
in.
that's game.
Now, this is a match that's kind of tight on time, which is true of every match when you're playing lands.
Yes.
Lands is the deck that it takes you a long time to win games, and you really need to play fast. You also need to be constantly badgering your opponent to play faster.
Correct. I mean, I think both players were playing at a pretty reasonable pace that game.
Oh, yeah, they were playing at a very reasonable pace.
And I'm sure that Ben Tash made sure to ask for a time extension after that ruling.
Yeah.
That's
an important lesson also
yes.
if you're getting into tournament plays. Always ask for a time extension after the judge call, especially in the early rounds of a tournament. A draw is basically a loss. You don't want them. You want to finish your matches, so ask for time extensions. And don't do mean stuff like not asking for time extensions when you're up a game, because you're just going to lose the next game and then draw because you're an idiot because you didn't ask for the time extension.
But yeah,
and you lose friends.
Yeah, don't do that. If your opponent is cheating, or if you have the opportunity to do something, you shouldn't. You should make sure to keep everything on the up and up, and you should get a time extension if your ruling takes long enough. But so
even if it takes 2 minutes, ask for the 2 minutes. It's worth it.
But so the thing about lands is, I mean, Ben takes a long time to win. Now Adam can come back and win a quick game 2. In game 3, Adam's going to want to try and win quickly too. The question is if either of the games go long and maybe they're close, tight games, who knows if you're going to have enough time for a full game 3. Now, obviously, if lands wins in 2 games, then it doesn't matter. But for game 3 situations, it is very relevant. And we're already several minutes into the round.
Yeah, I believe. Was it Chris Walterick who top-8'd an event with lands when he went X02 in the Swiss?
I would believe that.
It doesn't seem very unlikely. I actually played an Enlightened Tutor deck at a Grand Prix once, and at the end of round 6, I was undefeated, and in every one of my matches, I only won 1 game.
That was the GP in Chicago, right, or Schaumburg?
Yes. Yeah, I think you played the deck too.
Same deck as you. Yeah, that deck.
That deck. Chris and I did well.
Choice.
We were the only 2 people who day-seeded with that deck.
I went 6-0-0-3. It was a beating.
I'm sorry.
It's the worst. I mean, it's legitimate. I mean, I lost to my arch nemesis, Michael Jacob, just because I could never beat him. And
what was he playing? Like Survival or something?
Yeah, Survival. Well, what a weird card.
It was long before Survival became like this monster.
Yeah, just playing Survival, Aether Vial, Mesmeric Fiend, and I lost to a fish player. And
you lost to fish, really?
Yeah, I lost to fish player.
I played against fish twice. I mean, both times.
Yeah, I felt like it was a decent matchup.
It was close though.
Yeah, he had good draws.
Yeah, like if they draw well, like if they have like a vial draw, and like you don't have like you don't win the player, things like that. Like it can be hard.
I mean, what it came down to is on the last one, like I had a moat and he had the force for it. So
yeah.
And then I lost to a
Can you play 1 or 2 moat?
I think I've only played 1 moat.
I played 2 moat. I thought 2 moat was right.
Although at the last minute of the player meeting, you were thinking about cutting 1 for a tabernacle. That's right.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I
wanted to come up for a
you asking about
tabernacle,
that.
and I was running around asking people if anybody had tabernacle Pedrovale, and people were just laughing in my face.
I mean, like the thing is, so JVL and I, we like sit pretty close to each other at every player meeting because our last names are so similar.
Vs.
So we're always sharing our deck lists or talking about what's going on with our decks for the event. And we sat down, we're playing the same deck, and JVL said, "Well, we could probably just cut." I think it was you said you cut a Wrath for a tabernacle because they're like the same thing most of the time.
Yeah, only Tabernacle's like insane and just locks a lot of decks out of the game entirely. But yeah, I couldn't find the Tabernacle, and it wasn't worth what it's worth now. But at the time, it was worth like like $90, and I was like, $90. The card's not power 9. Now like a Wasteland's worth 90.
I mean, these Legacy Opens have done a great job. I mean, both boosting card prices, making what people have valuable, but also, I mean, just it's been really good for the Legacy scene. Like, tons of people are playing it right now, which is why these cards are so in demand. And featured at the Invitational will be the Legacy format for the first time. You're having the split format Invitational really changes things up a little bit. So that's coming up in just 2 weeks. So you're going to want to stay tuned to see how the split standard Legacy Invitational works. If you're not qualified yet, you should go check out the Invitational qualifiers. They're all around the country. If you win in one, if you can't come out to an open series and try and win a slot here, you will win an Invitational qualifier, and you qualify for the StarCityGames.com Invitational on your own. Additionally, we now have the Super Invitational qualifiers, which not only do that, but they award $1,000 in cash prizes. There's a playmat, really awesome playmat that's by Justin Treadway that you pick up. There's a top 8 pin. It's all good stuff. So you want to check those out. Go to StarCityGames.com/IQ for the list of invitational qualifiers and super invitational qualifiers, so you can find one near you. I know that if I wasn't commentating on the invitational and I wanted to play in it, I mean, I would be playing in these invitational qualifiers. They're so good.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't qualified for the Invitational, I would definitely be hitting up all of those.
Yep.
I will be at the Invitational battling. I'm looking forward to that very much.
Should be fun.
All right, so Adam leads off. He pops an Arid Mesa, grabbing a Mountain. Adam is a intelligent player. He knows playing against lands. He knows getting non-basic lands is a recipe for disaster. He leads off with Grim Lavamancer and passes the turn.
Yeah, if you remember his last game, he was very diligent about just from the very beginning searching up basic lands, and almost had all basics by the end of the game. Looks like Ben goes turn 1 Port Mox Diamond, so he's going to be able to tap down Adam Kai's red source, which is pretty good, essentially locking him out from a second land.
Yep. So here he goes. He's going to tap down that mountain, and Adam's just going to get to charge in for 1. But doesn't look great for Adam already. Ben drops to 19. Adam has a Tundra, and Ben gets the turn. Ben has the Glacial Chasm in hand.
He also has Intuition, which is a
really good
major card. You go Intuition for triple life from the loam.
Yeah.
And that gets your engine online. Oh, Spell Pierce from Adam Kai.
That's really good.
Just the card you want. Yeah.
That's exactly what he needed.
I mean, some versions don't play blue for Intuition Mindslaver Academy Ruins lock, and we honestly haven't seen a lot of the blue versions since Chris Walterick played it a lot last year and picked up popularity then. But now, I mean, Ben Tash is deploying all these blue cards. It was very fortunate for Adam that he had the Spell Pierce in that situation.
I'm interested that Adam chose not to brainstorm during his main phase when he missed his land drop there. I feel like you kind of just want to hit a threat at this point. Popping Ben for 1 a turn with Lavamancer doesn't seem like it's the best way to grind him out.
He did misstep that Exploration, which is huge. Once again,
that is huge.
The missteps seem really important in this matchup. So Adam Kai goes for a Brainstorm.
Ooh, now Adam has a Surgical Extraction in his hand now. And hitting a Surgical Extraction on Life from the Loam can just completely neuter Ben's deck.
Yeah, Adam brings in 3 Surgical Extractions, which is absolutely gigantic. If you hit Loams, the Lands deck really starts to have a huge problem winning. Because as you saw the last game, Loam is really what matters. I mean,
it's the most important card. And, if Ben plays an Intuition, Adam can actually let it resolve and essentially counter the Intuition for free and completely shut his opponent out of the game.
Yep. Ben Tash is not going to be happy when he sees the Surgical Extractions.
No, he will not. I believe Ben is going to Worm Harvest this turn, perhaps?
Okay. Well, that's another way to win if you don't have Loam, I guess, but it's certainly not impressive. Take some time still. I guess there are, 2 lands in the graveyard, so this will make 2 1/1s. Slowly creep up from there, making 3 1/1s, 4 1/1s, 5 1/1s, but Adam probably has the tools to overcome a bunch of 1/1s.
Yeah, I mean, a single V-click could probably sufficiently erase what Ben's current plan is. Alright, Ben chooses to not play the Worm Harvest. He just decides that it's better to tap the Tundra during Adam's upkeep.
Attention players, if you are in draft number 2, your event is starting.
Brainstorm again for Adam.
Brainstorming again for Adam.
Stage. Thank you.
Land. With misstep. Is that double misstep? I think what make out what the other card was.
I believe it is still misstep. So he's a force.
Or I think a spell snare. It's land, spell snare, misstep.
Oh, it is a spell snare. Okay.
So ships the tropical or the volcanic island and the misstep back on top. It looks like volcanic island on top, misstep underneath it. Attacks from 1 with Lavamancer, pinging Ben down to 15.
Lavamancer's doing some work.
and not in a normal fashion either.
Yeah.
The ground is pretty cold today. So exploration from Ben Tash gets misstep by Adam Kai. Has another misstep in hand.
That's really clutch. Like if he has a counter spell for every one of those types of spells that Ben tries to play, then he can really just lock Ben out of the game.
While I know, while Adam's draw is really slow, I'm sure that he saw the surgical extraction and was just like, well, this is the ultimate card I want against them, so it's right to keep this in hand.
If you have a misstep, an extraction, and a Lavamancer with some lands, like you can't really fault somebody for keeping a hand like that.
I mean, he hasn't really drawn like a Stoneforge or anything to help make up for it, but... Riftstone Portal for Bentash. Taps down the Tundra with the Riftstone Port, and he cracks Flooded Strand. Bentash once again reminding Adam Kai to untap his Lavamancer.
Yeah. Now, Adam cracks that island, cracks that for a basic island, and basic island's pretty important here. Some draw for his turn. What is that he drew? It is a Plains, and there's a good number of cards in his graveyard. He's just going to swing.
Yep, still just serving for 1.
Okay, so if his opponent plays a fetch land, I suspect he's going to start going on the offensive soon and using the activated ability of Lavamancer. But
there's Academy Ruins.
Ooh, that's a pretty good one.
And Worm Harvest. Okay, so I think that's 3 tokens. And Worm Harvest, a lot of you guys don't know what it does. It's more or less the ultimate grind 'em out card. It's 2 colorless and then 3 hybrid black-green.
Yep.
And it says you get a 1/1 token for every 1/1 worm token for every land in your graveyard.
And retrace.
And as retrace, so you can discard a land to play it. So basically, even if his Life from the Loams gets shut out, he can still just create 1/1s after 1/1s after 1/1s every single turn. And basically, he becomes a planeswalker with the mode, put a bunch of 1/1s into play every turn, and you'll see if Adam Kai can beat that. Mental Missteps just seems really good against Ben's deck. Liam Kane notes on Twitter that he feels like Aggro Loam is a better choice right now, just because don't play all those 1-drops that you get by misstep if you don't play a Loam deck.
Yeah, I was actually talking about Aggro Loam on the drive from Charlotte back to my house, saying, in a post-misstep metagame, I feel like Aggro Loam could be really good, and my friends were like, well, you're just going to lose to every combo deck you play against. And I don't know how many combo decks there really are. I mean, I feel like a deck where I'm playing like Loam and Cycle Lands and all that seems pretty strong. Oh, the surgical extraction goes down. So
Adam burns surgical extraction on Worm Harvest. He knows that Worm Harvest is going to be a problem for him going along, and that's it. So the Worm Harvest is gone now, but now that opens the window for Ben to potentially Life from the Loam. But without Exploration or Mana Bond, the Loam might not be good enough. Ben does know, or Adam does know, there's that Glacial Chasm sitting there. Let's see, Lavamancer, 6 activations away from killing Ben, quite a distance.
Yeah.
So Ben's got plenty of time. Adam he kept down with the Lavamancer and just has not drawn any other threats.
None.
Absolutely threatless. There's a Ponder, he's like, come on threat, Stoneforge Mystic, something.
For the first draft open. As I call your name, if you would report back to the draft open area, your head judge will be calling your draft. Robert Yeager. Christopher O'Brien.
Split at 10.
William Cruz.
And if you note, Adam did it on his turn, so that in case they played Glacial Chasm, it wouldn't turn off the damage, which is really important, because you can't respond to a land.
Alex Bertoncini.
That's true.
And Tyler Wilson.
And there's Pithing Needle on
With the top 8
Grimlock.
players from the first
strong pick.
Draft open. Please report
Cuts
to
his
the
clock in
draft
half.
area where Carson will get you started. Once again, that's
There's only
Robert Yeager,
1-1 clock.
Christopher O'Brien, William Cruz, Cody Dam, Gordon Johnson, Anthony Wilson.
That is definitely what you wanted to see. That'll maybe find the threats he's looking for, or more surgical extractions.
Draft
So
open
gets
area
all
now.
that.
The final standings after Swiss have been posted.
Mox Diamond, Glacial Chasm, Tranquil Thicket in Ben Tash's hand.
Yes.
Adam plays Vendilion Click is like, yes, I will not put your Mox Diamond on the bottom of your library. Once again, I'm kind of surprised that he targeted Ben there. If Adam had any card he wanted to ship, although maybe he just wants to keep both of his cards. So
You never know. Maybe he just wanted to know what was going on,
Like,
so that he knew how to like sculpt the game in a way where he could win.
is his hand Jace Ponder? I can't know what the other card is. It's Spell Snare Jace.
It's Jace and one other card. I'm not sure the other.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to put his Jace on the bottom. All right, and Jace going to come down.
Josh Wilson, your $10 draft is waiting for you. Please come to the main event stage. Josh Wilson, please come to the main event stage.
And then Jace is going to show Adam top card of Ben's deck. Now, Adam chooses to leave the card there.
Looks like it was
Mox Diamond. Not too impressive. Ben's thinking about going ahead and playing his Glacial Chasm. Now, if he just draws a loam, he might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, if he draws a loam,
Ben should probably play a little faster, too.
yeah, I mean, they're going to have a third again play. And the thing about Ben is he knows he can't win unless game 3 goes long.
Yeah.
So he has to play a longer game. Attacks for 3, bring Ben down to 2. Fate Seals. So let's see. So he didn't crack with the Lobmancer because Ben has Creeping Tar Pit under that swath of lands, in case you were wondering. Ben's lands right now are Port, Creeping Tar Pit, Academy Ruins, Tropical Island, Riftstone Portal, along with Mox Diamond. He's got Pithing Needle on Grim Lavamancer, and Vendilion Click next to the Lavamancer, as well as an active Jace. Adam has the Lavamancer Jace and Click.
So Ben's going to draw the card that was left for him on top.
Just like it was Exploration, which Adam's fine with.
Yeah.
If he hits Loam, it could be trouble, but it's not worth stripping it to the bottom in favor of whatever else he could draw. As long as he cuts Ben off from finding a Loam, he's good. So there's Glacial Chasm.
Yep. So now Ben can play a... what's he doing here?
Probably Tar Pitting.
Okay, that makes sense. He's going to crack out him
No.
at 8.
Oh, he can't attack. He just played Glacial Chasm. He can't attack.
Okay.
Alright. Something happened there. He adjusted with the Tar Pit, but
Yeah,
he can definitely not attack.
now...
Legacy players, that is time in the round. Current player finish the turn, and then there are 5 exciting turns remaining. That is the end of the round, legacy players.
So that's time in the round for Legacy.
Yep. I believe these players had a time extension.
So they should have a slight time extension. So, all right, yeah. So Ben concedes. Adam Kai wins, but that was only game 2.
Josh
so
Wilson,
it's
this
a
is
draw.
a final call. Josh Wilson is
So
a final
ends
call
up being a draw.
for your
And
$10
the
draft.
thing is, the players didn't really play that slowly.
Yeah,
It
neither
was
of them
just
really played that slow. It's just,
lands takes a long time to win.
lands does take a really long time to win.
Yep, it's a draw, and that's that. Draw for both of us. I'd be kind of interested to talk to Adam Kai about his take on the blue-red-white fish deck.